love music, love life. This is a Business Express. And yes, it's a holiday, but that doesn't mean we stop talking business. And we love it when you're a part of the conversation. Let us know what your thoughts are. The WhatsApp number is 08 40981. You can also tweet at smooth981. We've got Rotus on the show this morning. Good morning, Rotus. How are you?
Good morning, Zibby. I'm good. I hope you are fine as well, and good to be with all our listeners and viewers on this Easter Monday.
It's called a Goody Monday. Godly Monday.
Yes,
Okay, Godly Monday. I just figured
Coffee
that out
Monday.
today.
Very nice.
Right. And let's get straight into the conversation. We're talking about the banking sector and, of course, well, the medical profession. Two very separate entities that play a massive role in our lives.
Yeah, we had a collapse in one of the bank's networks yesterday. Affected a lot of people. And also in the medical sector, there's that bill, which I think another association has come out to condemn. I think the Medical Doctors and Medical Doctors and Dentist Consultants, Dentist Consultants Association, the MDCA, Medical Doctors and Dentists Consulting Association, the MDCA. They've come out against that bill that's passed. I think the second reading that is supposed to mandate that medical newly minted doctors are supposed to stay in Nigeria and work for like 5 years before they can get a license to practice elsewhere. Yeah. So those are two areas of focus today.
All right, so let's start off with the banking sector. What happened to GTCO's network yesterday? There were a lot of complaints. I was out for dinner last night, and just before, my person brought out his card, they basically said, oh, GT's not working, so we had to switch cards.
Exactly. It was everywhere. It was a complete collapse for GTCO. That's formerly GTB, they're a holding company now. You couldn't log into the app to access your accounts. The bank debit card wasn't working across any point of sale networks. You couldn't get cash from ATMs. It was just a complete system collapse for this particular bank. And it was it was really something else. It was really something else. I don't know. I kept thinking about films and how when you want to destabilize a country, you knock out their telephone access, and basically when you knock out the internet, you can just basically shut down services in a country. So it was really so for people like yourself going out to dinner. Someone on Twitter told me that they were embarrassed at the supermarket when they tried to pay for items. I mean, it was to a point where because I was trying to purchase something somewhere, and it was the representative there, the salesperson, was like, hey, listen, GTB is not working, so don't even bother using your GTB card. So I just switched to another one. And it was pretty prevalent because merchants everywhere you went were saying this before you even attempted to make a payment for anything. So it was just one system wide, and at least for us here in Lagos, pretty impactful.
Wow. So does this potentially have dangerous consequences?
Yeah, it does. I mean, if you need to make a payment for something, or you're somewhere, whether it's maybe transportation. So for example, if imagine if your GTCO card is linked to ride hailing and you need to get a ride, and you top up so what it is, there are these APIs, these application process interfaces that basically allow apps to interact with each other. So when you send money to somebody, you can send them a receipt on WhatsApp, or you can link your bank card to a ride-hailing service. You can top up your ride-hailing wallet to allow you to pay for your rides. I mean, you basically, as far as being stuck somewhere and needing to get out, as far as transportation is concerned, maybe you're traveling and wanted to pay for a flight. I mean, there's a whole number of medical needs. There's just a whole list of dangerous consequences for not having access to your money right when you need it at that time. So it was pretty scary and very frustrating experience yesterday for a lot of people.
Okay, so what do you think people can do to avoid being stranded?
I mean, you for us in Nigeria, you have to have multiple bank accounts, and you have to make sure that those multiple bank accounts are funded, and you just have to have options. You've got to have other options. I mean, I usually do this on Fridays. For the weekend comes, I'm like, okay, let me spread the money I have in 2 different accounts, and so I have more than one debit card option. But I forgot to do that on Friday, and so I was in a little bit of a pickle myself. Now, I should say it started working later, around 7:30 in the evening. I mean, you can imagine if you had, that's about, almost 12 hours. You're getting, considering when things started in the morning up until evening time. So it started, I mean, at least anyway, I was able to log in and make a transfer to in the evening. But you have to have multiple accounts. You've got to basically spread out your funds so that if one if one isn't working, you just switch to another one. That's basically what it is. But I mean, I've heard of all kinds of issues as to why they are facing this problem. Everywhere, the main one seems to be that a lot of their software engineers have left the country, and the whole Jackpot thing movement is impacting them pretty bad, to where they are not able. Because this used to be, GT didn't really used to have these problems back in the day, and they had a well-run, efficient system. But I mean, this cash scarcity really opened things up for a lot of people, to where it seems like they were just hanging on by their fingernails, and then you now had this massive influx of requests on the network for people who were trying to do mobile banking, and things just fell apart. But even before then, you had folks that were complaining, and it's not just them, not to single them. It's just like yesterday, it was just really, really bad yesterday. I mean, there are people who were replying me on Twitter saying, hey, it's not just GT. There are other banks that have historically had issues with their apps and network and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's something that definitely needs to be addressed, because yesterday was a bit scary.
All right, let's go on to WhatsApp. We've got some messages coming through. Frank says, the bank embarrassed me. I was out with a bay and couldn't pay for an item of 700 naira. See how I was trying to explain it's the app issue and not me not having the money. Going forward, I'm splitting my money into various bank accounts. Software says, guys, it's still not working. I just tried to log in now, but it's still a no. This is really sad. Ogeneo Chuko says, wait, solution out of the situation is to have multiple bank accounts, especially with the other digital banks. Just transfer some money to this online and you won't find yourself in this ugly situation. And Benga says, Rotus, will that bill affect people who attend private universities too? And then that collapse has been coming for a long time. Users of banks have been complaining about the torrid time they've had with services. Even before the Naira scarcity, people have been complaining. Unfortunately, nobody will pay for the embarrassment and torment suffered by bank users. I wish we had the American type litigation system so people could sue banks for things like this. Okay, so let's move on to the medical sector, Routers. Reactions have been pouring into this proposed bill that mandates 5 years of work in Nigeria for new medical graduates before they can get a license.
Yeah, so exactly. I think Benga alluded to that. Thanks to everybody for their message. And you see that it just shows that maybe I was able to log into my bank by luck yesterday, because now we got another message saying it's still not working. So maybe it's still very patchy. But yeah, to what we mentioned at the top of the hour, it's the Medical and Dental Consultation Association of Nigeria, so the MDCA, and they've just come out and saying that bill is for newly trained doctors. It just doesn't work because you can't force medical professionals to work in a country for X amount of years, because you're just looking to try and solve the brain drain. I think it was the bill was sponsored by an Honorable Abiodun Ganiu Johnson, and you're just looking at a symptom. You're not really addressing the root cause. Why do doctors, I mean, everybody's talked about it, why do doctors leave Nigeria. Why does anyone leave Nigeria? You're leaving because you want better opportunities elsewhere. We're a global economy and there's just more competition around the world. So you have to fix the issues that are causing low pay, bad infrastructure, lack of power, and all these other things. You have to address those things before you now start to mandate that medical professionals should work here for 5 years before getting a license. It's just not going to work.
All right, and let's talk about another business, the business of theatre. And I know you went to see the Motherland play over the weekend. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, first of all, we need more infrastructure. I'll get to the play. We do need more stages across the country where these thespians and these plays. I mean, in Lagos, you've only got Terra Culture, the Muson Center, maybe a couple other places. They're not that many. So we really do need more infrastructure. And of course, we have a Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. I don't know how, as far as expanding infrastructure for stage plays and so on. We've got the National Theatre that's been under renovation for how long? That's still, I think the Bankers Committee, CBN are behind that, but we're still waiting on that. But yeah, Bolanle Austin Peters, award-winning director. She's done it again. I encourage everybody to go and see this play. It's basically asking the question of whose fault is it that Nigeria is where it is today, and which generation is responsible. So the play goes through these two different generations: the younger, the Gen Zs, the millennials, and then the older baby boomers, where they all have a discussion as to whose fault it is. And there's blame to go everywhere with respect to where Nigeria is. Yeah, so it's playing, I think today's the last day that it's playing. It's playing at 3 o'clock and 7 p.m. I think at Terra Culture. And just, of course, we got the chance to see it as well for us here at Smooth FM. So because we're affiliated with them and so but it's a really good play. I mean, Easter period allows you to just tickets. They look, enjoy some of these very talented Nigerians that are doing great work here. But we need more infrastructure. We need more theaters. We need more areas for these people to be able to play so that we can see their work. But yeah, it's a very good play for anybody who's ever had that generational discussion with our parents as to, you guys are the ones that put us in this situation, and they're pointing fingers at it. It was very good. So I would really encourage folks to check it out.
Now, speaking about the infrastructure, do we need theaters, or can stages be constructed in most venues, which we seem to have a lot of in Lagos?
Right. So the thing is, which venues would you pick? I mean, outside of the normal ones you have. I mean, off the top of my head, I can only think of 3 or 4. You have the issue of parking, you've got the issue of transport routes to get there, pricing. There's a whole lot that needs to be done. It's just every time over the last 8 years, when you try and pick a sector that has been vastly improved, you can't seem to find anyone. So we're just having these conversations again and again and again. But like what you said, we're supposed to have these conversations, and governments, state governments, federal governments, supposed to put that into motion.
All right. Oganel Chuko says this proposed health bill is a reflection of the kind of legislators we elect. They are not deep thinkers. Here, I hear the legislator that sponsored this bill is from Lagos. Yes, he is. Well, that is all the time that we have for Business Express this morning. Thank you for your messages. Thanks for listening. And thanks, Rotus. Have a brilliant day ahead as well.
All right, you too. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Zibby.
Stay with us. There's a lot more to come on The Smooth Breakfast.